The subject of style with Himalayan painting is really the most, I find the most difficult, the most challenging for students. And one of the reasons for that is because we've still not completed a full curriculum of study on this topic. And what's really missing right now are a host of examples, examples of basically hand-picked art to serve as the real important pieces that are recognized by a lot of different scholars and institutions. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about Yama Dharmaraja. So in terms of Yama Dharmaraja and masterwork paintings, well, how do you approach that? Well, Masterworks itself has to do with the best examples of painting style, regional painting style, iconography, just a skill in drawing, skill in color combination. There's a lot of factors, and then it's also chronology, time period. But when we're looking at a small group of Yama Dharmaraja masterwork paintings, then we have to divide them up somehow. So we can really look at it as three groups: early period, middle period, and late period. Now, early period, we're not very old. We're like 14th century at the earliest for a central figure of Yama Dharmaraja. And we only have a few examples of these. And then the middle period, we're really looking at 15th century and 16th century with Khyenri and Menri style derived paintings. Also, what's called by some a new Menri, which is actually Lhasa Menri. It's actually a Lhasa style of painting. And not necessarily, it's not even Menri at all, but this is just part of the confusion we have with Himalayan and Tibetan names for painting styles. Then for the late period, we're really looking at maybe a little bit 18th century, but otherwise 19th century and early 20th, especially 19th century. That's when we see a lot of really wonderful young artists who are experimenting with a lot of different techniques, a lot of different landscapes, different colors, shading. There's really a lot going on in more the modern period with Himalayan art. So now the early period is really characterized by having the central figures and the main elements of the drawing are very stylized. The colors can be very bright, very bold. So the early period is stylized. The middle period, as I've mentioned, is primarily Khyenri and Menri, and these are two styles that developed from two different artists who apparently knew each other. And then we have also, coming out of that, we have what I mentioned as the new Menri or the Lhasa Menri. I say Lhasa Menri because this whole concept of new Menri developed in Lhasa, and in the town of Shigatse and the monastery of Tashi Lhunpo, they actually don't even use this terminology. This is a Lhasa and regions of Tibet that are under the political and cultural sway of Lhasa. They have this term, new Menri. But new Menri can be argued is not even related to the original Menri. But where we have this another type of derived painting style is Tashi Lhunpo Monastery. And so for the middle period, most of the Yama Dharmaraja masterworks actually are Tashi Lhunpo creations, and they're done in really it's a 18th century style primarily from Tashi Lhunpo, and it's really quite fine and very refined. And within the Tashi Lhumpo style itself, looking at it over several hundred years, then you can see different iterations. You see different versions of this style and how it develops. Now, for the late period, we have only a few examples, but what we're getting is we're getting innovation, and we're getting change, and we're getting mixtures of different elements from all kinds of styles. Plus a freedom. The artist has a tremendous freedom, and there's just not as much need to fill the composition with all kinds of figures, and the compositions are generally a little bit more free, and they're more open, and there's the figures have the central figures have room to breathe. So we'll leave it at that. You can press subscribe. You can hit the like button. You can join HAR on Patreon, and you can go directly to the Himalayan Art Resources homepage and make a donation to help us continue the work we do.